Welcome to the Boxing Talk Show.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee.
I'm Joe Cortez.
And co-host John Zamel for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. Clean fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.
Welcome to the Fair but Firm Show here with Joe Cortez and my co-host John Zimmel here in beautiful Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. And, of course, you guys know this is the boxing capital of the world.
Yes, sir.
But you know what? There's a lot of fights taking place in other parts of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Very important fight, like tonight.
There's fights going on right now, my friend.
Yeah, in Great Britain.
Yeah, there's fights going on. There's a card going on in Glasgow, Scotland right now, and another card going on in Britain right now.
Right, exactly. But tonight's a big fight that fans are really waiting for in the heavyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
You have Deontay Wilder defending his title for the 9th time against Brazil.
Dominic Brazil. A lot of bad blood there.
A lot of bad blood. You know, there's something going on with these guys back in Alabama a number of years ago, about 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And they saw that bad blood. They had a little confrontation.
Well, yeah, it was between the Wilder and his family, and Wilder's brother in Brazil got into it, and Wilder and Brazil's wife got into it, and they got not physically, but there was a verbal altercation. There's a lot of bad blood between these two, and they've said some.
I think the family are going to be on the undercard tonight.
Yeah, they should be.
They
should be. I'd watch it.
Semifinals. That'd be a good.
Well, that's what's going on with the Gary Russell. Because Gary Russell's going to be on the undercard of this fight. Gary Russell Jr.
Yeah,
he's going to be defending his title, and his brother Gary Antoine Russell and his other brother Gary Antoine Russell. This is not a joke. All named Gary Russell are all on this card tonight. It's going to be very exciting.
Well, my money's on Gary Russell. Gary Russell. But anyway, but Deontay Wilder is definitely looking to show the world that he is the number one, even though he had the tarnish on his record, a draw against Tyson Fury, which a lot of fans felt that he lost.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, Dominic Brazil, been saying Deontay, you haven't changed at all in the last 4 years. You haven't improved. You haven't improved, and you fight the same way you did in the amateurs, and you were not that great in the amateurs.
That's what he says.
So that's why these guys really have bad blood.
These are two Olympians. Remember that. These are two guys who fought in the Olympics. These are two guys who. Dominic Brazil has a very interesting backstory. He was a quarterback in college, and then went on to try out for the Giants. Didn't make the team. And then started boxing, just like Deontay Wilder used to play basketball.
Yeah.
And then had to box to make ends meet for his daughter's medicine because of her spina bifida.
Yeah.
It's a super interesting story between the two of them. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick. The Deontay Wilder has made some comments about wanting to kill Brazil. He said that it goes way back. He said, most recently he said that this is the one sport in the world where he can legally handle his business and kill a guy and get paid for it. He says he offered to pay for Brazil's funeral. He's really taking this, all the way. And now the WBC, which is the sanctioning body that, controls his belt, is saying that they're going to hold a hearing over it. Now, what did you think of Wilder's comments being in this game as long as you have? And more importantly, what did you think of the decision to hold a hearing over these comments?
Well, I've heard this in the past, many years ago. You heard about Mike Tyson
saying
he's going to eat Lennox Lewis's children and things like that. So, I mean, come on.
There's a million examples of this.
I know you can hype up the fight to some extent. That's good. But when you start talking about illegally murdering somebody and getting paid for it, that's a little bit out of line. I can see Mauricio Sulaiman. He's a president of the World Boxing Council. And Mauricio doesn't want to hear that coming from his champions because it kind of maybe looks like we have a bunch of trash champions with the sanctioning body, and we will try to keep boxing clean, even though it's a brutal sport.
It is a brutal sport.
We don't want to put the words out there because if something does happen in that ring, like it happened one time with Benny Kid Paret, called Emma Griffith because he said you're gay or whatever, and Griffith said, you know what, I'm going to kill you tonight, and he did.
Yeah, he killed him.
Actually did, in that brutal fight.
But I doubt he set out to kill him. He set out to inflict as much damage as possible. That's what this game is, right?
But you got to be careful with those words, because it's people use good sportsmanlike conduct, and Mauricio Sulaiman or anybody for that fight don't want to hear that because it's not something. When you have kids, youngsters coming up, and they start copying their heroes. If you got a role model like Deontay Wilder, you look at him as a role model, as a hero, you don't want to hear those words coming out of his mouth because then these kids say, I want to kill you too. The kids are using the same words the champion is using. So you want to be a role model, you have to be an example of a good champion inside the ring, outside the ring. But hyping is okay to some extent.
But am I wrong in thinking this has been going on forever? I mean, they've always said stuff like this. I mean, you look back just a few years ago, David Hayes said he was going to decapitate Tony Bellew, and it was going to be a public execution. And he showed when he fought Klitschko, he made shirts with pictures of Klitschko decapitated with no head on him. And when you go back to Muhammad Ali, I was just watching his documentary this week, and he's telling, I can't wait to hurt this guy. I'm going to pound his head in. I mean, that's just part of the sport, right?
You can say, I can't wait to pound this guy. Say, that's okay, but we talk about murdering a guy. It's all legal. And I'm going to get paid for it. It's kind of a little bit out of line. I mean, Deontay Wilder, and by the way, let's talk about his record. He has a great record of 40 wins and 1 draw with 39 big knockouts.
Yes.
And then Brazil has a record of 20 wins, 1 loss with 18 big knockouts.
And his loss was against Anthony Joshua, to be fair.
Yeah,
You know what
okay.
I mean?
Yeah. So it's going to be a good fight for both fighters, and the fans especially are going to see something interesting tonight, because I think with all the hype and everything, they're going to see like who's going to shut who up.
That's what's so much fun.
Yeah, after all this trash talking, and that sells tickets. But again, they got to be a little careful what they're saying out there with their words, because they're supposed to be role models. A lot of kids look up to these young men, even their own children. Like Deontay Wilder's kids and Brazil's, they got in there, look at Pop, my dad's talking like that. I can do the same thing in school, and before you know it, they got all these fan base following the same steps as the champion. It's not the right thing to do.
What do you think the WBC should do about it? Fine him?
Not fine him, but say, give him a little slap on the wrist and say, hey, Deontay, you're our champion. We expect a little bit more professionalism coming out of you to represent us around the world. We don't want to see that.
Am I
again.
wrong in saying that this has brought more attention to the fight? I mean, the fact that we're talking about it as our lead story.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's got to be said for something, right? The fact that, I mean, look, it was on SportsCenter yesterday. What do you think about Wilder's comments? Well, this brings more attention to the fight than they would have if they hadn't done this.
Exactly, and that's probably the reason why they said it. To get more people to watch the fight. It's okay to some extent, but a little bit more careful.
I get what you're saying. There's a line, and you feel like it was crossed, but it wasn't that big a deal.
No.
It's just hyping the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just in your personal opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, talking about great fighters, and I always talk about, let's talk about Manny Pacquiao.
Oh yeah, baby, big announcement for him.
Manny Pacquiao is coming back again, to defend his title.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, I said his title. He's still the champion.
WBA regular champion.
Yeah, 147 pounds, and he looked pretty sharp.
He's trying to unify with the actually WBA super champion.
Yeah, well, he's going to be fighting Keith Thurman,
my friend.
But talking about Manny Pacquiao, I got to say, there's something special about certain. They only come around like every 50 years, like when Mike Tyson came around, like when Muhammad Ali came around, when Sugar Ray Leonard came around, Sugar Ray Robinson. There's only every 20, 30 years you get an outstanding fighter. Manny Pacquiao is definitely one of them.
I would say.
Winning 8 championships in different 8 classes. Yeah. And on top of that, the guy's 40 years young.
Yes.
I don't say old because he doesn't look old. He still fight like a 20-year-old. When he kicked Adrian Broner's butt the other day, he looked like a young fighter.
I'd go one step further. I think this is a once in a ever fighter. I mean, how many people ever in the history of boxing? I mean, he turned pro in 1995, Joe. I was 4 years old when he turned pro, and he came at 112 pounds when he turned pro.
When he turned pro, yeah.
Now he's fighting one of the 3 best welterweights in the world at 40 years old at 147 pounds. I mean, that's. People like this has never been seen. It's never been done. This is crazy in this day and age to see something like this. I mean,
right? In his last fight against Adrian Broner, I thought he was going to lose because Adrian Broner's young and 3-time world champion, and I feel like, wow, this guy's got a lot to show the world. But I mean, I thought maybe he didn't have it, but he proved me wrong.
My God,
and that's why I kind of favor him against Keith Thurman.
That's a
heck
of a statement. Wow,
that, I love it. Yeah. So, hey guys, we're gonna go into a little brief commercial. I mean, this is getting real good.
Ooh-wee.
We'll be right back. Okay. Okay, back again here with the Joe Cortez Show, fair but firm on Saturday morning. But you guys, let me tell you that we're talking about the Manny Pacquiao once again. He is like one of the most amazing fighters in the history of boxing. He has such a great following. He's loved by everybody around the world, but especially his countrymen. They really,
oh my gosh,
really all out for him, and so would I. I mean, he's somebody to be very proud of.
He represents them on the world stage. He was among the poorest of all of them. And now is richer than any of them.
Yeah, but one of the things I can say is that I had the honor of refereeing Manny Pacquiao about 3 or 4 times in the past, and when I interviewed him just before the Adrian Broner fight at the weigh-in, the day before the fight, his last fight. It was such an honor talking to him. And I looking at him, I said to myself, man, you still look pretty much the same way you did when I refereed your first world title fight when you won the title. at 118 pounds. But when Bob Arum says, asked me that night when he won that title back at the beginning of his professional career, he said, Joe, what do you think about this young fighter? I told Bob Arum, I said, Bob, you got a good championship material fighter here. He's going to go places, this kid.
Yeah.
And little did I know that he would go further.
One of the best of all time?
Of all time, yeah.
What would this fight mean for his legacy? Because it would be one of his biggest wins. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it here. This isn't like this is obviously the icing on the cake. He's been a Hall of Famer for 20 years. He's been, you know what I mean? We're talking about this is a guy who's in the greatest of all time conversation. What would a win against Keith Thurman at 40 years old mean for his legacy?
Well, Manny has said already that this fight means a lot to him because people know that this fight that he's going to be fighting with the Keith Thurman is going to be. Keith Thurman is definitely one of the great ones out there.
Oh yeah,
He's
an undefeated welterweight champion.
He was undisputed welterweight champion. He's undefeated, and nobody has really beaten him. So everybody feels like, well, he's going to fight one of the best ones out there. He probably is the best welterweight, but he didn't look that sharp in his last fight against
Josecito. But a lot of people blame ring rust. It was his first fight back, but then again, this is just his second fight back.
Yeah. So when he fought Josecito Lopez, he didn't look that sharp, and I said to myself, well, we know he's been on the shelf for almost 2 years because of injuries, but that's how he got stripped of his titles when he was unified champion. So now here he is trying to get all the belts back again. But trying to beat Manny Pacquiao not going to be easy task for Thurman. But then again, not going to be easy for Manny. But I think Manny going to raise the bar again like he did against.
That's amazing. Against everybody, baby. Yeah. Against everybody that he's ever fought. I mean, it's just what he does.
Adrian Broner looked like unbelievable, unbeatable fighter, and here he is. Manny Pacquiao once again. But let's go back to the fighter that we're talking about fighting tonight.
Oh, it's tonight if you're in London. It's right now it's right now for all of us. It's actually kind of exciting. If you are subscribed to the DAZN or DAZN app, or if you're subscribed to ESPN Plus, there's 2 cards going on right now. We'll go one at a time. One is the Billy Joe Saunders fight. He's fighting his first fight ever at 168. That's going to be a fun one for him. He was stripped of his title at 160. He was one of the middleweight champions, and he decided to go up a weight class and test his mettle up there. And on the undercard of that fight is one of your favorite fighters, Joe Joyce. He's fighting another guy that we've never heard of and we'll never hear of again. And but he's a heavyweight prospect. He's a 33-year-old prospect who's slow but powerful. He's good looking. He's got some. He seems like a good fighter. You like him, Hall. You want to talk about Joe Joyce?
Well, Joe Joyce is a British fighter who has about 9 pro fights under his belt, all by knockouts, and he has again he was a silver medalist representing the United Kingdom.
Yes, sir.
And in the last Olympics, and he has some hope. Like I say, hope.
Yeah.
As far as a contender. And maybe down the line, he may be a championship fighter. We don't know yet.
I think he'll definitely get a title shot because he's got enough acclaim just from the British media and British fan bases. Yeah. In his last fight, he beat former WBC heavyweight champion Bermane Stiverne in, I think, 7. Yeah. And he didn't look crazy impressive, but anytime you beat a former champion, you deserve respect. So.
Well, it's good for his resume that
Absolutely.
And plus it builds up his confidence level.
Oh yeah,
knowing that he beat a former heavyweight champion.
That's a good point.
And he only had Stiverne only had I think 1 loss or 2 losses on his record.
Yeah.
So that's not bad considering.
They were his 2 losses to Wilder.
Yeah. And so I think that he will now step up to the plate as a young up and coming heavyweight, even though he's 33 years of age. But in the heavyweight division, you don't really mature until the later years.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's in the later years.
Yeah, he is 33, 34 years of age.
Yeah.
You got to do something real quick.
Yeah, he's got to find something. I mean, he's not going to get faster, but he might be able to get a little more technical and be able to work some feints in, keep the guys guessing. There's no reason to think there's no hope for him, but he isn't very fast.
Yeah, the only way you're going to be fast, you got to be fast with his progress.
He's got to be fast with his progress. That's a good point, Joe.
To make sure he gets there quick enough, because before he'll be too old. We're going to be talking about a 40-year-old.
A 40-year-old prospect?
Fighting for a heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
For his first time around.
First title shot.
So he got to move real quick.
Yeah, he does. I agree with you. On the other side, on the DAZN card tonight, we have 2 fights coming out of the World Boxing Super Series. At the 140-pound division, we have Josh Taylor, the undefeated Josh Taylor, 12-0 from England, versus Ivan Baranchyk, who's, I believe, the IBF 140-pound champion. and they are fighting tonight. That's Josh Taylor is widely expected to. He's the favorite, and he's expected to take the championship from the champ. But you can never underestimate a champion. And at the end of that fight, the winner goes on to fight Regis Prograis to unify the 140-pound division in a similar way that Terrence Crawford did a couple years ago.
Right.
What do you think about these tournaments? Because it is kind of exciting and interesting to know who their next opponent's going to be. They're contractually obligated to fight each other, but a lot of people say boxing isn't set up to be tournament-based. They would have fight each other anyway. What do you think about this? Some people like it.
I think it's pretty good because it's like an elimination bout. You get in the best of that division. You wind it down to the two best one in the division, and at least you get to study them as they progress along up to the quarterfinals,
It is fun.
semifinals, and up to the finals. To see who's going to be the best out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair because this way there's no sanctioning bodies controlling about who's going to be the mandatory challenger, and the other guys that have been waiting on the list for so many years say, man, I've been waiting all this time. Now there's no excuses.
Exactly.
Now with the elimination, they'll say, okay, it's fair and square. You got to beat this guy to get to that level. You want to fight for the championship, make sure you win these other fights.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I think it's fair for both fighters. They're going to step up to the plate and know they got to give it all their best.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they're not going to get that title shot again.
That's a good point. It seemed like a real success last year when we saw, Alexander Usyk rise up the pound-for-pound rankings by collecting every single cruiserweight belt along the way.
Right.
Just 1, 2, 3, 4, and ended up the undisputed, unified the cruiserweight champion of the world. That was exciting. And Callum Smith, we found out he was the best 168-pounder in the world after last year, watching him beat, Groves and watching Groves beat Eubank Jr. It was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad they came out with the second one. They had some trouble with their funding, but tonight we'll see if they get back on track. The other fight, the main event of that one, is the man they call Noya the Monster Inoue. He's fighting against Emmanuel Rodriguez for his bantamweight strap. Now, Inoue was amazing at flyweight, was incredible at super flyweight, and now is going for his third division title. What do you expect to see out of Noya Inoue? Man, I know you put in your top 10 pound for pound tonight.
I can tell you there's a lot of going on with the division with you guys fighting tonight, but we're going to talk about that when we come back after this brief commercial. Welcome back again here to the Faber Firm Show here with Joe Cortez and my co-host John Zimmel, talking about these great fights that are taking place right now as we speak in the United Kingdom. And we have, again, big fights tonight, Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Brazil for the heavyweight championship, WBC heavyweight championship. And, of course, we were just talking about Manny Pacquiao, what a great fighter he is, and now that he's going to be fighting Keith Thurman. The whole world will be watching that fight. It will be a pay-per-view event.
Absolutely, man, as it should be. And actually, the undercard for that fight looks pretty amazing, too. You got Caleb Plant signed up for it. And forgive me, there was another big fight that I just saw announced today that's going to be on that undercard as well. And I'm very excited for it. I think it's Ugas versus Omar Figueroa, which will be a good fight.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight for Ugas. Ugas going to have a fight recently with Sean Porter.
That a lot of people thought he won.
And a lot of people thought Yordenis
Ugas.
Cuban welterweight, brings a lot of talent to boxing and the welterweight division. And, he might have lost that fight against Sean Porter, but a lot of fans felt that he pulled it out, even himself. And I would say 50% of the fans watching that fight felt.
How'd you score it? I mean, I know you didn't score it, but did you feel like he had a case? Is that all I'm asking?
I think he had a good case.
That's what I'm saying.
In fact, I thought he pulled it out at the end there. And Sean Porter, whom I think dearly of, I mean, I think he was kind of surprised. I think he was kind of disappointed himself at that final bell. And Ugas just jumped up and started celebrating like he knew he won the fight.
Yeah.
But now we got Ugas stock stayed up there, went up instead of going down, even though he lost. Just like Tyson Fury when he lost to Deontay Wilder. His stocks went up, even though he didn't get the win, but he proved to the world that he's somebody to reckon with.
Absolutely. Well, just to answer that, so you can answer the question I asked you right before the break, what do you expect to see out of Noya Inoue tonight, one of your top 10 pound-for-pounders who has been climbing the ranks and just destroying everybody?
I think he's going to keep destroying
I think so too, man.
His opponents. He'll do that. We're saying that in a nice way, destroying with sweetness.
The boxing soft now.
Not destroying with any bad words or anything with anger.
Malice.
He's just, anything with malice. He's just a top fighter who has so much talent. He brings a lot of skills to boxing and devastating power punching.
They call him the monster for a reason, my friend.
That's it. They called me the monster a while back.
Yeah, did they?
But it wasn't because of my boxing.
What was it about?
My face.
Because of your face? Well, that sounds fair. That's pretty funny.
But anyway,
that's great. Oh my God, I love that, man. I'm so excited for where boxing is right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about 3 different cards right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just exciting. It's as exciting as you could possibly get.
Yeah, and I want to put it out there again. I want to say back in 2011, I did a study for the judges, raising the position of the judges. And I see there's some people out there talking about raising the position of the judge. I want to let everybody know I came up with that idea. If you look it up online, Cortez 2020 system.
Yeah.
It's raising the position of the judges to make sure they can see the punches a lot better. When I did the study, Ring Magazine thought that it was the most, the editor of the magazine said, George, it is the most simplest but most ingenious idea I have ever heard, because changing the position of the judges, bringing them up a little higher like they do in tennis, you can see the angle so much better. You don't miss that many punches. But I saw somebody on the network the other day talking about their idea of raising the position of the judges. I talked to Mauricio Suleiman 2 years ago. We were in Mexico talking about it, and he told me again, Joe, we're gonna do it. I promise you, we're gonna love it. I love the idea.
Do you know who said it?
Of raising. It was some.
Call him out. Who was it?
I forget. It was some guy with a sports talk show online. It doesn't make a difference. I just want to let people fans to know that.
That was your idea.
This is not that it's only my idea. It's the best thing to be done in boxing for the betterment of the sport, to avoid these controversial decisions. When you get the decision, people are saying, what are the judges scoring? What are they seeing? I said, they can't score what they don't see.
Yeah.
So raising the position of the judges, when I did the study with professional judges, told me, Joe, I can see 80% better from up here, up looking down, than I do in my regular standard position.
Yeah.
So we got to go with that position. Eventually, you're going to see, and check it out online, and you can see where they did an interview with me at the New York Times. It's on there as well. Cortez 2020 system, you'll see it. And it's something that should be taken very seriously with all sanctioning bodies and all commissions around the world.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you missed any of the show, if you missed the beginning part where we talked about Manny Pacquiao or Deontay Wilder and Dominic Brazil, you can always catch us on YouTube. We upload the same show to YouTube under Fair But Firm Show. If you Google us, you'll find us on that. If you YouTube us, also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, which we do another show on Monday where we recap all the fights of this weekend. If you're interested in joining our family by being a sponsor, I recommend you call the number 702-722-1353. Once again, if you'd like to join our family as an advertiser, 702-722-1353. And make sure you subscribe and share all of our shows. Thank you so much, Kate.
Okay, well, let me tell you that I feel that boxing is really still going strong, stronger than ever. We have a lot of fights coming up for the remainder part of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's really getting really hot. And I just want to say to you fans out there that you're given an opportunity to listen to these shows. I want fighters out there watching and trainers. Make sure you take the sport seriously, because this is not a game to play around with. This is a hurt game.
Yeah, what do they say? You don't play boxing.
Exactly. I want to make sure that you guys, just like in life, you don't play life. Take your life serious and make sure you do the right things, because life is short. And we got to make sure we guide ourselves and guide our loved ones around us in the right direction, especially your children and your families. And of course, if you're a trainer, you have those fighters. These trainers treat your fighters like if they're your own children. You don't want them to take any unnecessary punishment. I want fighters to try to keep themselves in good shape, keep yourself in good physical condition, but most importantly, keep yourself mentally fit. Because if you're mentally fit, it goes a long way. You can have all the best training in the world and be the best out there, but if you're not mentally fit for a fight, you're not going to be focusing on the fight. And the same thing goes on in the real world in life. If you're not focused in what's going on around you in life, what will happen is that you're going to end up making a lot of mistakes. So I know nobody's perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but I can tell you one thing: I'm hard to beat because I try to do the best I can. But as long as we know you're trying, that's what's important. Is when you're not trying, when you give up, then you're a loser. You know, if you keep fighting, you're still a champion. No matter if you lose, you're still a champion because you're still sticking with it. What do you say about that, John?
I could not agree more, my friend. What an excellent way to end it there.
I think that our life is beautiful, and we have loved ones around us, and we have individuals that don't sometimes love us or care for us the way they should. But, I always say if they're lost, and we keep on praying and making sure that we stay together and keep it a beautiful family together, especially the boxing community and our loved ones, our co-workers, our family members, our children, our spouses, make sure we do the right things. And we have to just keep on sharing it and paying it forward. Because I believe if you pay it forward, It's going to come back many times over. It has to me already. That's why I keep on trying to help out wherever I can. With that said, guys, keep your guards up at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. And remember, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Keep it up, guys. Touch them up. John Zimmel, my co-host here. Joe Cortez. See you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee
I'm Joe Cortez.
for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. Clean fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.